happy game thing. I mean, you know, they not only feel confident in the game, they don't look like they're stressed at all. And I can imagine that must be so frustrating on the side of SBTC because they must be racking their brains out as to how to, you know, be able to break through BURIRAM's defenses.
Yeah, big true. And once again, BURIRAM with the first 3 champion that they love for. They love to play. Oh, wow. Could this be a replay of game 1?
Possibly, yeah. If SBTC, you know, if they left those champions open, gotta wonder what exactly, you know, they're going for here going into game 2. We do see the Diana coming in. We do know that Kirill's very skilled on the Varus as well. Now they bring out the Vi. Riku, what are your thoughts on this draft? It looks like our plays are wrapping up.
Yeah, this is really good for TF just because, again, if there is a single target threat on the opposite side for BURIRAM, might as well just get that easy click lock-in towards Kinemon here. And every time Assault and Battery is available, definitely they're going to instantly target Kinemon every single time, remove him immediately. But the problem is Supporter is going to be there as that really, really good, basically support to peel for Kinemon, and I think it's still a huge problem. There is a reason why EVO's constantly banned Braum in their grand finals during, again, in their region and as well as yesterday's series.
Jess, I heard your reaction earlier. This is, I think you're writing this off. Is this going to BURIRAM?
For sure. They're playing TF and Jarvan, Kaisa, Braum again.
Yeah, it seems like SBTC are going into this sort of spiral over here. We're gonna see if they can pull out of it though as we enter game 2. Casters, over to you guys.
And ladies and gents, we're going into game number 2. BRU, they came ahead in game 1, took the win away, and now in the second game, they're running the same composition. SBTC, well, they tweak things a little bit here, TJ.
Yeah, I mean, they like put on a new suit, you know? They look a little bit better, but it's no, they didn't change the person. And I think I've got a problem with that, to be real with you, Granton.
Oh, man. I mean, SBTC, they had some issues, right? Trying to convert any advantage that they had. I mean, I love the adaptation that he did by banning away the Olaf because we saw how potent Shiba was with that, but they're still running it back, like you mentioned, with the same person.
Yeah, you have this one guy at the front of the theater, and he's always the worst. Every time you try and go buy popcorn, he calls you rude names, all that. So you go to theater management and you say, look, I'm going to be real with you. I'm not visiting this theater anymore if you don't change that. And they say, yeah, no problem. We'll change him out. We got other people. We've been meaning to fire him anyway. They come back the next day, same person. He's wearing a new suit. And that's what SBTC have done. They've added a little bit more late game emphasis to this team with the Renekton and Vi. Those are 2 characters that are going to rely on getting to the late game. Those are also 2 characters that are very effective at finishing off the picks that get softened up by Kirill's arrows. But they haven't changed that this is a composition that needs to get late game. And that's why BURIRAM are trying to fight now.
I mean, it's an early skirmish, but I mean, BRU is really just trying to establish some control in the mid lane again. SBTC, well, like you mentioned, they're trying to help themselves tide through into this late game. And, well, we've seen how well Kinemon's able to come online once he's able to have those resources funneled into him.
Yeah, Kinemon did a good job of being the late game insurance for BURIRAM last game. Akino and Kirill are really skirmishing here, and Kirill's in trouble.
We'll have to see if this is actually going to turn into something substantial. Akino's going to have to flash away. Archie's chasing after, but he's not going to commit his flash either. It's too much of an investment for that one kill.
Kirill flashed down bottom to survive, barely did so. Kinemon did not spend his own flash.
So it's an interesting start as well between the 2 marksmen, and well, if Kinemon's able to come online organically without interference from the rest of his team, I mean, that just turns out so much better. I love what you mentioned earlier, TJ, about the concept of Renekton being a weak side Baron laner, because we're starting to see that here. Both teams have kind of ignored the Noelle Yunaro lane in favor of just finding pressure in the mid to bot side.
Yeah, we were talking about this off stream. The Renekton basically just wants to chill out here. And the reason why Renekton is one of the most high priority characters in the game,
Oh no, Archie gets caught in the mid lane, but survives with the barrier. Julie might go down, the concussive blows, one more auto attack finds it, and Supporter chasing him down. He's looking for it, just one more strike, won't get it though.
His arms are too short. He's lifted too many weights, and he can't bend his elbows all the way.
Oh no, TJ!
He's got big biceps, but he can't flex them all the way because the big muscles are getting in the way. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 90s, and he can't finish the kill.
Whoa. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a very aesthetic human being. I'm not gonna dive into this tangent.
Yeah, but
TJ,
he couldn't bend his arms all the way. That's my point. It's still a good save from supporter. It keeps Archie alive,
Yeah.
and he's looking for a setup here.
And they do find a setup down to the bottom side. Explosive Cast comes across, but still stuck within the Catapult and Archie. Joining into the bottom side, commits the Gokhan, and it's not necessary on Kiro because they still find a kill.
That was so clean. BURIRAM show up at the bottom lane and deliver a razor-sharp gank. Everyone, 4 players, arrived pretty much simultaneously, undetected by SBTC. And that'll be exactly what they were aiming for with this early game Twisted Fate composition. Again, BURIRAM are a little bit up against the timer because this Renekton wants to last till the late game, provide teamfight value, be a frontline for Kirol and Julie to operate kind of from the safe zone he and Arkano create. That's what this late game dream is for SBTC. So BURIRAM don't want to let him get anything during the early game because they want to close this game quickly. And that's why it's actually very important that SBTC just snuck away that dragon. Just lifted it out for the museum.
But SBTC has had to invest quite heavily to get that dragon. They lost 2 kills in the bottom side, so they could reset a little bit faster. But now they've lost some tempo towards the Rift Herald, which is, well, we've seen it as kind of an evolution for teams to prioritize Rift Herald. We've seen it double back a little bit, but still overall, a very nice objective to pick up.
Yeah, I want to touch on that. I think we're going to have a fight, though, so I'll hold it.
Yeah, you have to watch out for that. The Chain's Corruption is going to be used early. Noel doing a good job.
Blocking
off the members. Kinemon coming in as well. This early game, Kaiser still has enough damage, so you have to respect this, have to watch out for it. Yunaro gets caught, the Killer Instinct available, but Julie jumps in. It's a 4-man Moonfall. But it's not enough. He still falls, but Yunaro's come online. Noel grabs the Honey Fruit, so it's still alive. Ajani preps the Gold Card, faces off against Kirol, but a piercing arrow comes across, and Noel dodges away with the flag and drag, gets back on the turret.
An excellent team fight for SBTC. It's hard for them to fight right now, but they managed to kite BURIRAM into this narrow choke point. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Kinemon's gonna go down here unless Flash is away.
Good Flash. So they managed to kite BURIRAM into this narrow choke point, and that's where SBTC's front-to-back team composition is going to function best. You see why there. Arkano and Yunaro both individually managing to hold the front line for periods of time, building space for Kirol to throw arrows over the top, and yes, for Julie to go in and land a 4-man Moonfall onto the clump with a Renekton over the wall, waiting, begging for a chance to clean all that up.
He joined into the fight like a bomb, TJ. The second he went in there, he was the follow-up damage that Julie needed.
Actually, Yunaro tried to engage a second earlier, and Noel walled him out with the Cataclysm, so he came over the wall and just got his head bonked on the Cataclysm and couldn't achieve anything. But
we don't talk about those, TJ. Yeah, we don't talk about those. We just talk about the good moments for Yunaro.
Okay, sorry. Great play by Yunaro in the second half of his fight there, as Noel once again did a really good job with that Cataclysm of splitting the fight. That's been BURIRAM's bread and butter. That team fight stabilization, I don't want to call it a win, stabilization by SBTC has bought them more time, which is why you see this Rift Herald. This is a chance to increase the tempo for BURIRAM.
But they're committing 4 from both sides to the bomb side. Shiva's caught down by the Assault Battery. Nice use of Hextech Ultimatum. Gokhan comes across. They're taking down the Vine first, and they found a second on Julie. They're gonna drop 2, though. It's a nice return coming through with Aquino and Kiro still looking large. Facing off against Ajani, flashes away. You have to worry about Shiva getting the shield, but the Proto Belt, not the Proto Belt, but the hook shot's gonna get him out.
Can Yunaro clean this up? They're both low. They're recalling in the push. He has to know.
Gold Card's ready, locked and loaded, up against Shiva. They get enough damage, they get the hook shot across, but still have to worry about the call.
He finds the kill, and look at this. Noel's caught out as well.
I mean, he's joining in, but the fight's already over, TJ. There's nothing left for him to get done.
Oh, man. What a turn from SBTC, and you see the front-to-back composition they're dreaming of as Kirol sits in the back line and just throws out arrows, and sure, BURIRAM are winning the very front lines of the fight, but the damage is ticking up.
Watch out for supporter. Ajani's running fast as well. He's playing it like he's going for the 100-meter sprint. Has the gold card ready. SBTC need to back away.
We get a lot of criticism on these desks of the Vi. I want to talk about why the Vi is actually useful, because we just got a fight that really demonstrated it. The Vi stuns, her ability to CC chain, are second to none. She provides more utility than almost any other jungler because she can lock people down on their aggression. She's a heat-seeking missile. And there, it locks down the front line and gives SBTC time to turn the fight. A feat they're gonna have to repeat, because here we go for the Infernal.
We'll have to watch out if the Vi's able to get that done because he's a target of focus taken down by BRU, the first to fall in this fight. Gold card from Anthony onto Unero. The concussive blow's not going to be there because he's dashing away. Julie now joining in as well. A little bit late to the party, but still here nonetheless. And BRU, they need to be cautious about this because Carol, once again, these piercing arrows are too good.
No smite though for this dragon.
But they get the dragon either way. Inferno over to BRU. Not sure if this damage is going to mean enough for BRU to survive things. Flash away from supporter. Kinemon has to run away. Julie chasing after with Kiro. Loading up the piercing arrow. It won't be enough to take down supporter though.
Team fight win for SBTC. They're going to get a turret off of this, and it's the mid turret as well. This game is breaking much better for them. Yes, BURIRAM get the dragon. Yes, it's an infernal dragon, but they're hitting the same point they did last game. And if you're doing the check, if you're measuring how much gold do they have on their key carries, the stuff that got BURIRAM through a devastating game one with that mid-game team fight, you'll notice this time around, it's the carries over on SBTC that have a gold lead. Julie is ahead of Archony. Kirol is ahead of Kinemon. And even though the compositions are roughly identical, that gold difference is going to mean that these upcoming team fights are very dangerous for BURIRAM in a way they weren't last game.
And for a champion that was supposed to play to the weak side, Unero has come online 4-0-2, 8,500 gold now. I mean, he's just looking pretty strong.
And that's why you play Renekton, because it was a weak side. He got almost no resources. You can look, they've taken no turrets, there have been no fights in the top side. But he still managed to leave the lane and deliver on the promise. Show up in these team fights and find massive value. That's what Renekton is good for. You don't need to give him anything, and he shows up and pays rent.
Well, BRU, they need to be a little bit cautious about this. The Baron's up in SBTC Esports. Well, they're vying for some control there. And so this is important for BRU to watch out as Unero is just causing a bit of a problem in the bottom side, in these side lanes, especially with his teleport available.
Yeah, and this is really good side laning. Unero, both top laners have been very impressive across this tournament. And Unero is going to be teleporting into the fights here. First recall lane.
They're trying to match this here. Shiva's down the bottom end. Archony
well played.
Looked like he was trying to go to the top side, but he decides to go back to the mid lane instead.
And you can see here BURIRAM are afraid to take these fights. And that's because it would have been a fair, it would have been an even fight up top without Kinemon there. And I don't think they win any fight without Kinemon there. I don't think they win very many fights at this point. But absolutely they need to have Kinemon. Here's an interesting flag. Archony is not going for rapid fire cannon. He's going for more damage. He's rushing the Rabadons, which I think indicates that BURIRAM recognize that they're behind right now, recognize they're in trouble, and they need a little bit more teamfight damage because Kinemon's not online yet.
It's a very interesting adaptation from BRU. And Archony, while his positioning has still been pretty on point, but he's been relegated into his side lane, so that might be a contributing factor as well. Right now, we do see Shiba playing aggressively up against Unero. They shoved out this bottom side wave, but there's not much to find the other end. Kinemon's keeping target focus. They're locking him down first. TF joining in. Flash forward the gold card. Archony's going to get caught by the explosive cast, and the rest of his team not there to follow him up. The Twisted Fate has to run for his life. Blue card locked and loaded. Unbreakable will stop the piercing arrow. You still have to watch out from Julie. Shiba coming online now. Noel misses out on the chance to get the knockup, but it doesn't matter because they take him down either way. Aquino flashes out, gets away, and Kiro's still off putting damage in the backline BRU.
They're all low, but Julie's dead, Unero's dead. Nobody can finish them off. Both the assassins that would dive the backline were shut down early in that fight because they didn't have support from Kirol. What was Kirol doing? He was desperately trying to survive whilst Noel dove him and threw down a cataclysm on top of him. Time and time again, Noel splits these fights and wins these fights for BURIRAM.
And it's so important for Noel to be actively present in these fights. You can see how they bring Anthony into the side lane to deal with Yunaro. Instead, Noel is grouping up with the team. He's the one that's grouping up together. Shiba's the one rotating. Anthony's the one rotating. And it's panning out well for BRU because they understand what they need to get done. This tank Jarvan has been paying off dividends for BRU now. Dragon started up again. SBTC a little bit late on the uptake, so they're a bit far away. Doesn't look like they quite have to re-engage.
One of the other differences from the previous game is that BURIRAM don't have quite as much value on Shiba. He's fallen a tad behind here. He does still have a gold lead. That's why he's been so aggressively farming. But he's yet to find big assassination potential on this Camille. The one thing he will offer, regardless of gold, is you can pay attention to where the Hextech ultimatum lands. And if he's able to lock that onto one of the key damage dealers, looking particularly at Julian Kirov, maybe Yunaro as it was last fight, that's going to, one, restrict the movement, prevent any assassin dive or any kite to stay alive, and two, it's going to reduce their damage output. And that's exactly what happened to Yunaro that fight. He TP'd in, locked in the Hextech ultimatum, could not move, stuck in a bouncy castle. And he took a lot of damage. It was a very sturdy bouncy castle. But if that keeps happening to him, SBTC are going to really struggle to teamfight here.
We're starting to see some of those issues arise here, TJ, and SBTC, while they have been kind of in control for the past 5 minutes of the game, BRU, well, they're starting to wrestle it back a little bit. You know, they've been finding these small incremental leads, and Shiba, while he hasn't been this pick-off, backline killing kind of carry, has been able to follow up the stone and just organically come up to a decent amount of gold as well.
Shiba, and we saw like a little bit of that down bottom when he was jumping in and grabbing some of the Krugs. That's what he's been doing all game. He's constantly looking for angles, trying to get gold. And it's really impressive that he's done that against TF, who's one of the most aggressive junglers in the world. Just being able to steal little bits of gold away. Shiba has traditionally been a little bit more supportive, a little bit more of a team player than someone like TF, who tends to take over games. So it's really cool to see him matching what TF can do here. And I think one of the reasons why BURIRAM United are going so far in this upper bracket.
I'm looking down towards the bottom lane now, though. Noel's matching Yunaro, and this is a different take from what we've usually seen. While Shiba's looking for a catch onto Julie with the hook shot to get the damage across. Might be able to take down this Diana first before Yunaro can join in. It's a teleport coming in, but it's too late.
Yeah, Archony very well played to get in there and find the kill.
Nice station vision to get the knockup on the Kiro. I'm not sure this is the call, but Kinemon dive in. It will be, but the killer instincts used on TF instead. Flashing forward, looks for the Winter Spite. The explosive cast knocks them back. Aquino gets caught by the stun. Shiba chases after this Varus. And Shiba, he's become this backline killing monster. And Kiro will eventually fall to this Camille.
Very well played. He lives as well. Beautiful stuff from Shiba. I was criticizing him for not putting enough pressure on the backline. He does exactly that. But now, that's going to be an inhibitor broken by Yunaro. Is the only player left on the board for SBTC. He gets what he needs to done. Julie's going to respawn in time to defend their own inhibitor. Yeah, BURIRAM got a ton of gold off of that. They better hope it's enough that Kinemon can carry these upcoming team fights. Because if it's not, SBTC have just got a massive win condition.
Well, TJ, it might be a big amount of gold, but it's only barely pulled BRU ahead in gold now.
Yeah.
That being said,
the thing you want to watch is how much of that is on Kinemon. He's currently leading the game in gold, 15,000. That's roughly what he needs to be doing in order to be successful this game. But with that completion of the Infinity Edge, he'll do a ton of damage in these team fights. And it's all down to whether or not Kinemon is doing that effectively enough, whether he's playing well enough to win versus the Renekton, which has so much frontline HP, so much stun. The TF Vine, which is going to be just mainlining him, looking for the kill, looking for the knockups to find him. It's all on Kinemon's shoulders once again for a second game in a row as we approach this Elder Dragon.
I mean, it's a great deal of pressure on Kinemon here, but if he gets this, well, I'm sure he's going to get a TJ Gold Stun. That's the destiny. They get some information. They dive in the back. Look to take down Kiro first. And watch out for BURIRAM United because they're collapsing on SBTC Esports so quickly. Yunaro gets the trade back on the Shiba. Watch out for Julie as he comes in big. Kinemon's still alive, but he doesn't have the damage to take down Yunaro with the flash throw from TF. Nice fucking drag onto 3 to take them down, but Kinemon has fallen. It's just down to Archony. It's down to Archony facing off against Yunaro, who still has a Guardian Angel. This Renekton will not not go down. Noel tries to buy time, but the gold card lands on the Kino instead. The two remaining members from SBTC will face off against BRU, who are effectively running for the hills and won't be able to get much more done.
Incredible performance by Julie and Gennaro as they turn a team fight where Kirol goes down first. BURIRAM have a great read on the situation, and so they spot an angle where Shiba and Noel hard engaged, shutting down Kirol, denying the backline damage. Let's take another look at it. Watch this engage. Boom, boom, double dive. Hextech ultimatum, Cataclysm, Kirol's just dead. No two ways about it. But then things start going wrong, because Gennaro has shredded the front line, and with a follow-up dive, Kinemon's dropped very low as well, and he wasn't contributing damage because that dive was so far away from him that he wasn't able to shred these frontline tanks during the first part of the fight. So now as we get to the second half, they're roughly still full HP. All the damage went onto the squishies, and Gennaro is doing so much.
And as we look at the live camera, we watch as SBTC collapse back in on the Elder Drake again.
Take two.
Kinemon so far away from the fight. The Destiny is going to be used to get information where they are. SBTC respects this and are not going to go too aggressively forward. They find the catch onto Julie first, but the explosive catch is going to knock them away. Nice catch from Julie. The Glacial Fissure going to buy some time, but Supporter and Noel in the thick of things. You have to watch out for the side though, because Kinemon's come online. He's taking down the first. He's looking for the second on the TF. It's going to get handed to Shiba instead. And they're looking for Gennaro now. No Guardian Angel available for the Renekton. Means they have to run away, and it's Elder Drake in the eyes of BRU.
A devastating misposition for TF and Julie. They're nowhere near the rest of the team.
No ults, Carol's going down. It's Noel coming up big, taking down the marksman on the side of SBTC.
And once again, BURIRAM have pulled out a game in a late game team fight. The Destiny from Archony gives them all the information you need, and Julie panics. He throws out all his engage. He doesn't get anything with it. His stasis is spent. He dives past the fight, drops the ult, gets nothing with it, and he's dead. And just like that, SBTC have lost a massive late game team fight. BURIRAM get the Elder, they get the Baron, and I think they've got game 2 at match point. That would be so close to a ticket to the Horizon Cup.
Kinemon's coming up massive here, TJ. 10 and 2 at this point. 5 full items completed. And now with the Guardian Angel, you have to kill him twice. Once isn't good enough, TJ.
A very important item completion for him. And you also need to keep your eyes, as we go into these late game team fights, on the effectiveness of Kinemon. Because that last fight, okay, are you really doing
What's
this,
happening
Shiba?
here? Unaro, this is a little bit aggressive here. They will manage to find the kill, but Shiba's going to have to run away, and it's
They're running
looking
down
like
mid.
SBTC Esports are going to find one back by the mid lane. You have to worry about
They're gonna
BURIRAM
end the
United.
game.
Escorting the wave in. He's buying so much time.
That's the
Shiba's held them
game.
in place because they're going onto the Nexus. The Flash will not save them.